Hi everyone, this is Abby, and as my second video for suicide awareness and hopefully prevention, education, hopefully some inspiration to those out there watching this video, I wanted to talk to you today about my first video. And my first video, I just basically told you a little bit about myself and what I've been through, and hopefully today I kind of wrote down some things that I wanted to talk about. Um, and in my first video, I kind of shared a little bit that maybe some things that, it's kind of hard doing the first video. A little bit about myself, what I've been through in my time, my life, my surgeries, and stuff like that. But it's never easy to talk about the subject of suicide. And I'm the person who's been on both sides of the fence. And being on both sides of the fence, you can be relatable. I am someone who thinks about suicide pretty much on a daily basis. It's not something that I, sit on the sofa and just, all right, I'm going to think about suicide. It's not really like that. But it pops up in my head for some reason, and I just don't know why. But it happens. I think about it, the process, and what's going to happen before, during, and after. I know people who have thought about suicide as well, who've talked about it, and we're able to relate to each other because we know what we're feeling in the moment. All right, that's my kitty cat, Spike. And he's heard a lot of my sob stories. I also know someone who's attempted suicide, to include myself. And I have the marks on my arms and my legs to prove it. Kitty. I also know someone who has committed suicide. I've been on that end of feeling and knowing a loved one who has committed suicide and what it's like to lose someone you love to suicide. And being in the military, this subject does come up. I've lost an airman to suicide, and the tragedy of that loss was very impactful. How do we educate ourselves when it comes down to suicide? How do we find people who know about this subject? And it's really hard to find people who know about this subject because it's not something that you just go out and say, hey, I'm thinking about suicide today. Can you help me? It's not something that we try to put out there. But it is something that's deep within us that weighs in our hearts. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start these videos of education, hopefully some inspiration, and I'm hoping that I'm able to reach someone and someone can reach out to me when I'm in need. And I'm hoping that if I do a video where I'm calling out to someone, someone can help me in my dark times as well. I was on Facebook just about a month ago where I had made a post, and it was pretty deep. And someone I had never met, basically, one of your Facebook friends, you know them as Facebook friends, but you've never met, reached out and basically saved me from myself. I'm hoping that that's what these videos will do for you. On account of today, I might have thought about it 6, 7, or 8 times already. And wow, it's not even 9 o'clock at night, and it hurts. And then some people wonder, well, why do I think about it? Okay, here it is. I live in a state that is about 3,000 miles away from my family. I'm originally from New Jersey. And I live here because I was stationed here. I was in the Air Force. And since I was stationed here, due to all of my medical issues, I was also retired here, or I was stationed here with my husband. So, because my husband and I live out here, we decided to basically plant our roots out here. Prior to this duty station, we lived in Japan, and that's where we met. Beautiful place. We loved it. I loved it. Didn't want to leave. Life was great. Then we came to the States. But enduring all of my medical issues on a daily basis is really difficult. Pain makes you think of suicide. Being alone, away from family, makes me think of suicide. Not being able to work because of my medical conditions makes me think of suicide. Feeling that I have no purpose makes me think of suicide. Feeling lost, confused, unloved at times, even though I have him, my kitty cats, my puppies. I have 2 golden retrievers. And having an extremely low self-esteem about myself also makes me think of suicide. With the things that are going on in this world today, I should think of myself as lucky, grateful that I have a home, that I have food in my belly and roof over my head. Now, there are people out there who will say, well, you should be grateful that you have all those things, and you shouldn't be complaining, and you shouldn't be thinking about suicide, and you have everything you need. Why do you even think of that? You're not in my head. You're not in my body. You're not in my heart. And to say to people who do think of suicide, to say those things to them are the worst things that you can say to them. That is the very last thing you want to say to them. If anything, a little patience goes a long way. Just reaching out and saying, hey, what can I do? Like that friend on Facebook. She just took a moment of her time. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. And I wanted to end it. And she was there. And she talked and spoke to me for over an hour until I was able to just let it all out. But she patiently did it, and that's what mattered the most. Without judgment, ridicule. She did it out of kindness, love, concern. And that's basically all we need. A good cry always helps. And sometimes that's all we really need is a nice good cry. Then we can move on to the next minute, the next 5 minutes. It's that something deep inside hurts that we want to let go of, but we have no idea who to talk to. Because we're afraid that someone who doesn't know what we're feeling is going to judge us. And is not going to care to take that moment and listen. That's it. I'm just hoping that with me saying these things, I can help educate you in just being patient. I need a good cry. So I hope this video helps someone.